Welcome to a victorious edition, a victorious Monday Night Veterans edition of the Dolphins Dive Bar. And I am your boy, your host, Tony Two Times, aka Chicky, aka whatever the fuck. I'm just so stoked and so happy. Dolphins pick up a primetime win. Okay? Let me say it again. A prime time win. They beat the LA Rams in Monday Night Football by a final score of 23-15. Boy, Dolphins just play good football. So let's have a drink and talk about the game. So today's drink we're gonna have is called the Army Navy, which I think is fitting because it's Veterans Day. And yeah, let's make this drink. Okay, so to make the Army Navy, it's real simple. We're just gonna do half ounce. So we got our shaker with ice in it. You can see the coldy woldy. So in our shaker, we're just gonna put half an ounce of the Orgeat, 1.5 ounce of gin. We got some lemon juice, fresh squeezed, and a dash of bitters. We can put it in here and shake it all up, and let's give it a shot. And then we're gonna strain it into a frozen glass. Finish with some lemon and some zest. That's all right. So once again, this is called an Army Navy, and it's only fitting since today is Veterans Day. And here at the Dolphins Dive Bar, I just want to give a shout out to all the veterans out there, anybody that served across all the branches. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate your sacrifice. Listen, it's your day. You know, doesn't matter if you were running and gunning out there in Fallujah, kicking down doors, taking it to the Hajiman in Afghanistan, and up in Torkham, or if you were just back home, filling out papers and doing sergeant major's detail all day. Experiences may vary, but you had the balls to serve, and I appreciate you for it. I want to give a shout out to all my buddies that I know that did their thing. This one's for you. I appreciate it. Happy Veterans Day. Now let's talk about that game, boy. So like I said before, Dolphins win 23-15. Defense finally getting the guys back. Got Javon Holland back. Sealer was back. Playing. Cater Kohu was playing. Calais Campbell's a beast. Dude had a bunch of tackles, 2 deflected passes, 1 led to an interception. Secondary held up. I mean, you were getting plays from, Hand, who was getting a hand in there and causing fumbles. You were getting Fuller and just other guys just making plays, It was pretty sweet. And the defense, like a bend don't break mentality. I mean, come on. There was that wonky ass drive where it was turnover, back to back plays, and you give them great field position for them, terrible for you, and the defense holds, and they hold to field goals. The dude even missed a field goal. So, they kicked 5 field goals. They got no touchdowns. They did not see the end zone. They did not get to the end zone once. So the defense, Anthony Weaver, I mean, he made it happen. He brought some cool blitzes. He brought a really cool exotic look where Javon Holland got the pressure. I think got the sack, if I'm not mistaken. Where he's lined up at the edge, and as everything's moving along, you can see him, he turns his body to the back, he keeps moving back, he's gonna drop back into coverage, right? They're trying to sell their hard count or whatever, and he'll pretend he's taking off back in the coverage, and then as soon as they snap the ball, boom, just beelines it towards the quarterback. I mean, they played great. Ramsey got in there in a couple blitzes, got his hand on the ball. They got 4-man rushes. I mean, Calais Campbell, like I said, is a monster. This dude, hands coming in. There's Sealer, obviously, making pressure. They that defense played so much better than they have the last 2 weeks. I mean, it was like 3 and out after 3 and out in that first half. So I wanna get into them before I get to the offense. So let's talk a little bit more of the defense. So pertaining to the defense, I mean, like I said, with the pressures, dude, Chop Robinson was getting it tonight. There was like 3 or 4 plays in a row. I don't know if it was in a row, but 3 or 4 plays over the course of the game. Like, the dude was being held, and they were not calling it. He was getting to the quarterback. He got a sack. He got other pressure. Then you got Calais Campbell getting his hand up there, deflecting 2 passes. One of them was picked off by Walker. Like I said, one of these no-name guys that it's like, dang, this guy's on the team. They're out there making plays. That secondary's like so stripped down, I guess, that everybody's got to play. The depth was tested. And that's beautiful because it's like, all right, everybody get your reps. Because let's see what you got. You can't hide when you're on a football team. You're going to get on that field eventually, right? So let's see what you got. And, some of those secondary guys made plays. They had decent coverage and some deflections and some pass breakups. And they really just stifled Matt Stafford and really didn't allow that Rams team to do much, to do, if anything, anything that they wanted to do through the air or on the ground. We were always in control. The offensive side of the game, even though they put up 23 points, I mean, most of that game was just ugly. Like, for a while, it was just not good football, right? Like, the Dolphins had like they had 7 drives that first half. And 6 of them were pretty much atrocious. Other than the opening drive with the scripted plays and getting into the end zone quickly, after that, another drive they got a field goal, but every other drive is either 3-and-out or they get a first down and then they, go 3-and-out again, like that was ugly. But the way the game started, I mean, Tua coming out there with the shiesty mask in the dome of all places, I don't know, battling that cold weather, that air-conditioned weather. But he was getting, he's trying to get the playmakers involved early. The very first play of the game is a play-action pass where they hit Waddle for a quick 18 yards. You could see he wants to get his guys involved early. Now, that's not to say that it carried on throughout the game because I think Waddle was Miami's leading receiver with 3 catches for like 37 yards, Tyreek Hill had 3 catches for 16 yards, 1 touchdown. That was like a 1-yard touchdown though, right? And Jonnu Smith had like another 3 catches for 45. So he was spreading the ball to himself. He goes 20 for 28 with 207 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and he was sacked 3 times. But it was really cool that first drive, those scripted plays. You get the hits Waddle for the 18, right? And then later, he is like scrambling around. And so the pocket's collapsing. He steps up. And he's moving along the side. He looks like he might be able to take off. But instead, he's waddles up the sideline, stops in the soft spot. Tua hits him. Quick 34 yards right there. And then, boom, they hit an end around to Malik Washington. Like, ton of motion. Hit an end around to Malik Washington, who runs up the side. River Craycraft out there getting blocks. And he runs 18 yards to the house, and Miami gets their first touchdown. And that was Miami's second opening drive touchdown of the season. So it started nice, started quick, and then the defense, I mean, they played great on the Rams' first drive. They just do a quick 3-and-out. But then, like, Tua and the receivers, like, nobody was on the same page in Miami's, like, second drive where, like, 2 plays in a row, the receiver just wasn't where Tua was expecting them to be, Like, he throws it to Jonnu, and Jonnu's not even looking. And they just, it was wonky. It was a 3-and-out. You got to punt the ball away. Defense holds again. But then the Dolphins got to get a little cute, because the O-line was sucking today. At least for the first half of that game, most of the second half too. They were just leaking. I mean, Eichenberg, dude, that one play, Eichenberg literally just like I'm moving this toy. That freaking defensive lineman who was just, and he did that to a grown man, Liam Eichenberg, and freaking just blew up the play and sacked Tua. And Eichenberg is just kind of like standing there like, oh, crap, what do I do? They were not opening the holes that they were. Like that Dolphin run game that they've established over the last 3-4 weeks, running it up the gut, running through the A gap or the B gap, it was not there today because Devon Achane only had 12 carries for like 37 yards, right? So they tried to get cute and they tried doing all of that outside stuff again, but I mean, it just got blown up easily because I mean, McDaniel's playing McVay, a coach under the same Shanahan tree as him. So, they all know the tendencies. They know what's coming and how to defend it. So when he went to the old bag of tricks, it just wasn't working. All those outside zones, they were getting blown up like so quick. The drive after the Walker pick, after the Calais Campbell tip, Miami gets the ball, decent field position, and they're moving it, and then, Jalen Waddle, wide open on the sideline. Tua just puts it right in there. And, I mean, blinded by the light is all I can say. It's not Cowboy Stadium like they were joking about. But, I mean, I guess Waddle just blinded by the light. He doesn't see the ball. Ball goes completely right through his hands, bops off of his face mask, right? It's like, dude, the customary, complimentary Jalen Waddle drop during a game. I mean, he was going to get it in, right? It's just, I mean, that is really becoming a problem for him. Just the butterfingers on, relatively, anybody would consider a relatively easy pass, especially for a professional. So then Sanders gets the field goal. Nice game from Sanders. They showed a little spotlight on him, how his father and 2 of his brothers served. His brother's still like an active airman. So, that was nice for him to get a little shine. And then he was making his kicks too, 50-yarders. He wasn't a liability. So awesome for Sanders. Like at that point, he made it 10-0. And then, the defense comes through again. Calais Campbell gets a 3rd down sack. And then like the next Dolphin drive, I mean, Julian Hill just completely misses a block. And they freaking bust through and they hit Devon Achane in the backfield. Loss of a lot of yards, and then Tua throws just a ridiculous interception on the next play. Like, I don't know what he saw. If the that blue and yellow just blended so far into the turf, he might have gotten fooled by what the coverage was. But when he just threw that ball, I mean, the dude was like standing right next to the receiver and just freaking steps over and just an easy pick. But then the defense holds strong, right? They get a fumble. Gets his hand in there, rips the ball out, and then Will Fuller, I think. Yeah, and then Will Fuller gets the recovery. So it was like, back-to-back turnovers on plays. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That was the play when Eichenberg got pushed to the side. That was the drive where he easily gets pushed to the side. And then on that drive, hey, listen, it wasn't a fumbled snap, but while I was sitting on my couch eating chips and chicken wings, Tua's fumbling the ball again. Like he's fumbled the ball. His last 3 games that he's been back, his last 3 starts in a row, fumbles the ball. Rams recovered, and this time it was just he was doing a little Cam Ward from Saturday. He was just playing a little hero ball with it, a little too much. Holding on to it or not looking, not feeling the pressure. I mean, your O-line is just, Swiss cheese. Just guys are just busting through right up the middle. You don't feel it. And the guy just barely put his hand on his chest and, the ball just goes flying back. I think Tua was playing a little scary at that point. But, it was like after he got hit in the head or whatever off of that interception, and he goes to try to make the tackle and he gets, freaking kicked in the head. I was worried that he was going to enter into the concussion protocol like he did after that Christmas Day game against Green Bay a few years ago. Because I was like, after that, you just was not making good decisions, it seemed, man. Just throwing the ball into bad spots and just holding on to it too long, trying to play hero ball, getting turnovers. I know he wants to ball out on prime time, but it's like, bro, be smart. I mean, do Do the Tom Brady, live to play another play. Throw that joker away. Do something else. So the Rams get the ball, like good field position, but they do nothing with it. They kick a field goal. That dude Belt on the Dolphins, he does a nice little speed rush, gets to the quarterback, gets a strip sack, but the Rams do recover it, and then before halftime they kick the field goal, right? And then they won the coin toss, so they deferred, so they would start the second half with the ball, right? Miami goes into the halftime up 10-6. It's like I said, the first half was sloppy. The offense in the first half was really sloppy. The offensive line was trash. They couldn't run the ball inside or outside. And, guys weren't getting open enough because Tyreek wasn't really doing nothing. And Waddle got his couple catches and got his drop. After he got his drop, he was pretty much non-existent for the rest of the game. The offense in the first half was funky. It would get a little better in the second half, but not that better, right? They put up another 13, so we'll get to that right now. Rams start the half, Stafford has his moment where he fumbles a high snap. The ball goes up, and he tried to get it, and then he tried to, bring it back down and hand it off to his running back, but it just didn't work. He kind of just flung it back. But they were able to recover it. They do nothing on that drive. They go down. They go for a field goal. Their kicker misses it. So Miami's still up 10-6. And then the Jonnu Smith drive happens, right? Dude gets his first catch of 11 yards. And then, boom, explodes for 33 yards. Such terrible tackling on by the Rams part, right? There was the one part where he caught it, he was running, and he kind of got turned around, and then dude just they pancaked him, bounced off of him, hit the ground, and Jonnu's still standing, and he runs it down, and he gets it all the way to the 1 yard line. I was kind of hoping that he would have been able to barrel through and maybe follow that inside through and score a touchdown. He would have deserved it, but the Jonnu Smith drive, 2 of his 3 catches on that drive. 11 and 30, what did I say? 11 and 33. So 44 yards of receiving for him on one drive. And then the very next play, do the play action, find Tyreek Hill for, I think, his second or third touchdown of the season. It was a 1 yard shot. And then that freaking celebration almost killed the dude. What was that? Beckham that he hit? But hey, it's a touchdown, and it's 17-6. Finally get something moving. Rams next drive, that's when Javon Holland did that nice little fake going in the coverage and hitting the blitz, getting a nice sack on I think it was third down. Rams kick the field goal, so they make it 17-9. It's a 1-score game. You just need the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. On the Dolphins drive, it was Tua hit a short pass to Devon Achane. Right, but you saw that Tyreek Hill, I think, was being covered by a linebacker in the middle of the field. Tyreek Hill was wide open. The safety was a little too deep, playing on the left side of the field, and Tyreek could have caught that over the middle and took that one to the house so easily. You can see in the replay, he's got his hand up, and he's just when Tua throws the ball to Devon Achane. I think that they did miss out on at least one, but potentially 2 explosive plays. But hey, he hit his open man, and I guess he already went through that progression, right? And then McDaniel's struck by that bug that he always gets bit by, the bad clock management bug. He's got to burn a timeout. I think it was their second timeout after after he burnt the first one after a long play. I think it was the Jonnu Smith play. They got down to 1 second on the clock, had to burn a timeout, and then they got to burn another one. Luckily, they got the lead, right? But they burned that second timeout. They hit a 25-yard pass to Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert, I guess he got punished because he didn't get a single carry, but he got 2 catches. All of his love was given in the receiving game. Big 25-yard catch for him. And Tua, man, they sent a blitz, and the guy was just a free runner, and Tua did a nice little spin around and going out into the right side of the field. That was good to see, because you don't want to see the man just get popped right there. Then they try to do another end around. They did 2 or 3 end arounds. I think they hit Hill on one. They hit Malik Washington on one, and they tried another one. I forget who it was to, but you know the magic on that ran out. It was like the 8th tackle of loss against the Dolphins up until that point that game. A lot of getting hit in the backfield. Miami settles for field goal, and then the Dolphins. You know, you want to see them at the end of the game there, just like kill the clock. You know, and they were doing it for a while. They had a nice Odell Beckham. OBJ had a nice, crucial 3rd down catch to extend the drive. And then they just couldn't run the ball. Like I said, they just could not run the ball. So then they wind up having to do the punt, whatever. The Rams get the ball, you know, they drive down the field, try to, you know, best defensive stop of the game for Miami. It was like the goal-to-go situations where 2nd goal, 3rd and goal, whatever, they can't get it, and then they got to kick the field goal, right? And then they got to go for the onside kick because they got nothing else to do. But, you know, Duke Riley recovers it, and then Miami can play the best formation in the game. They can do the victory formation. So, second half was better performing-wise the second half had better execution in it, right? Defense just played top-notch the whole game. Offense, they still have so many bugs, so many kinks that they got to work out, but it's getting better. And the game was nowhere near, they performed nowhere near as good as they did last week against Buffalo. You know, that the injury on the offensive line, the new cohesion, or the new chemistry that has to be built. It was just an ugly game by them. Like, they reverted back to like the offensive line the first 4 weeks of the season. So they couldn't implement a lot of what they wanted to. They couldn't, you know, really control the game in the trenches and run the ball a lot. But hey, you know, it's a win, and they're 3-6, right? And there's still hope. You know, I can't give up on them, obviously, right? And they can go on a run. Next week, coming up, they got Vegas. There's some very winnable games on the schedule and some very tough games. But, you know, they're going to play them, so we're going to see where it falls. We're going to see how they do. But I really think that, I mean, they could definitely get, you know, they could turn this thing from a 3-game skid into like a nice little 3 to 4 game winning streak. So we'll see. Finish this bad boy so we can finish the video. But yeah, we got Vegas next week. So yeah, you know, nice Monday night victory, nice primetime win. Come back next week. We got the Vegas Raiders in action, and hopefully we're getting closer and closer to 500 as each week passes. We went 1-0 this week. Let's go 1-0 next week. And hey.